Royal book fallout, Meghan and Harry are torn apart, Sussexes at loggerheads over latest explosive tell-all Endgame. Hello everyone, welcome back to the King YouTube channel. Last month, it seemed like things were maybe going to change. For the first time in a few years, there was hope that King Charles and Prince Harry might finally be figuring out a path towards family reconciliation, especially after what was supposedly a warm phone call between father and son on the King's 75th birthday. Well, enter Meghan's bestie, Omid Scobie, who has just published his new book Endgame. The book promised to examine the monarchy's fight for survival, but instead it reads like a burn book on the royal family's most important members. It even attacks Harry's once beloved sister-in-law Catherine, the Princess of Wales. At the time of recording, of course, Harry and Meghan still have not commented on whether or not they were involved in Scooby-Doo's latest offering, although it has been noted by a few different UK royal experts that Meghan had to admit in court that she indeed did collaborate on the first book, Finding Freedom, so we assume that's the case with this one too. And some people are saying that Endgame has left Harry between a rock and a hard place. The tragedy is that Endgame looks bound to snuff out those slim chances of royal reconciliation, according to the Daily Mail royal editor Richard Kay. The book claims that Meghan never wants to come back to the UK, and she doesn't want to have to deal with her in-laws ever again. And New Ideas exclusive sources worry that the maelstrom of controversy might turn Meghan and Harry against each other. A source reports Harry was never into collaborating with authors and most journalists throughout his entire life. It was only the arrival of Meghan that convinced him to collaborate with Omid on Finding Freedom. It now appears Harry's realizing that you can't put toothpaste back in the tube. One insider is wondering if Harry would prefer if they did indeed distance themselves from this book. The source says, though, Meghan is fully against that. Harry suspects that the real reason is Omid knows all Meghan's secrets, including things Harry doesn't know about. The source went on to say, Harry feels betrayed that so much lick and spit detail is coming out, and even Harry knows some of it could only have come from him. He's furious right now and doesn't know where to turn or who to trust. He's completely isolated, and the only friends he has are all Meghan's friends. A separate source adds, given Harry's recent tentative steps towards a reunion with his family, he can't have seen this book coming in terms of how heavy it is. You can't deny it's made life very difficult for him once again. And it does seem like the media games that we have seen over the past few years between Meghan and Harry and the rest of the family are beginning to weigh very heavily on Harry's mind. It's dawning on him that this book and everything else will be all over the internet for posterity, for his kids to read when they're older. Those sorts of thoughts are all consuming, according to the insider. But on the other hand, it doesn't seem like anything is really happening. So far, we are still waiting for those titles to be taken away. I mean, we're worried that King Charles is just going to accept this. And this is exactly why Scooby-Doo and Meghan and Harry are so excited right now. Their bargaining is at play. Can you guess what it is, though? It's not really that easy. It does seem like there's something bothering the king. William, on the other hand, no, I think William would act. So what could it be that's keeping him like this? It has been a long time since I've been looking forward to seeing him sending Meghan and Harry off the scene forever, and it seems like so far nothing is happening. The king is also the leader. If he can't deal with the feelings, then there might be a better person than him to do the job. Why stick around when you need to be submitting to people who all the time are trying to defame you? Please, King Charles, show your strength before you quit. So apparently, the problems Parliament is having is the end result of removing the Duke title. Harry was born a prince. That means that he is what we call a blood prince, and he's going to keep that title forever. If they do take away the Duke and Duchess titles, though, Meghan Markle is going to turn into Princess Henry of Sussex, and nobody wants that. So what they're trying to figure out right now is, can the ducal title be removed and maybe change the title to Lord and Lady versus Duke and Duchess? It's a complicated situation, though, because they've got to make sure to cross all their T's and dot all their I's. King Charles couldn't make the decision. He can give his opinion and he can make his wishes known, but he cannot do it without permission from Parliament and or the House of Lords. And if you think this is an easy process, then that shows you don't understand what's really going on, or maybe you don't care about it being a legally binding solution. I'm pretty certain this has been a horrible situation for the family and for the country as well. And I understand the wheels of justice are a slow grinding process, but still, I'm going to keep the faith that all of it is being worked on behind the scenes. And as soon as everything is done, they're going to announce something. I mean, these two brothers, though, could not be living more different lives right now. December 5th, 2023, Prince William was out there on the streets raising awareness about homelessness and poverty in the UK. There were not a bunch of press people reporting on it, and no visible security either, but he was still out there. And while William is doing that, we've got Harry, the Ginger Wincher, in court acting like a big baby, making such a big deal demanding taxpayer-funded security whenever he's in the UK. He already lost the case earlier this year, and by October the case had cost the British taxpayers an astounding £400,000, really more than that. But the miserable prince decided he had to appeal the decision, and right now the appeal is being heard in the High Court for 3 days. It is estimated that his shenanigans are going to cost British taxpayers around £1 million. I mean, how offensive is that? Here in my country, in the US, if a person brings a frivolous lawsuit and loses, then they got to pay for everything. There is no way Harry didn't realize the UK was not going to let him hire the Met Police. I mean, come on. If that's even the lawsuit that we're talking about right now. You know Meghan, though, is behind all this. She has got to be put under control. One of the most obnoxious things in Spare was Harry bragging about the number of Taliban he killed. For somebody who's so paranoid about security, I mean, that has to be one of the dumbest things anybody has ever done. Why should he receive security paid for by the British taxpayers? He's a traitor. And maybe he's going to claim the time he spent in the army demands security, but other people who served in the military don't get security. Harry chose to and continues to seek publicity, but he doesn't do a thing to support the people in the UK. Harry is just so desperate to be relevant and to be important. If given protection, he would get it everywhere in all countries that he were to visit. That is what he wants to. He wants the outriders, he wants the guns, he wants the free accommodation. And once they get that, they know they'll get publicity and importance and freebies wherever they go forever. So no wonder they're fighting for it. And guess who's going to pay for it? Oh yeah, the British taxpayers. I also believe that in spite of his behavior, he still is under protection. Maybe not the security kind, but the kind that protected him from real life and cleaned up all his BS when he was younger. Prince William makes us so proud of the royal family. Harry, though, he needs to be dealt with once and for all. Unfortunately, up until this point, it seems like Charles has put family before the monarchy, and he really has been motivated by guilt when it comes to Harry. Maybe Scabies' book is going to change all that. By all accounts, though, William is furious about the book, and he is so angry that they named those names. It would appear that Charles has some kind of health problem that he's dealing with right now. And, maybe it would be for the best if he ends up letting William take over handling this situation. And do you agree with me? Please tell me your opinion below in the comments. If you think my video is useful, don't be afraid to like and share with anybody else who would enjoy it anytime you want. And don't be afraid to click the subscribe button to get more updates in the future. Thank you so much for tuning in, have a lovely weekend, and we'll be back to see you all tomorrow.